Oh no! It's she who must be obeyed! My friends, my brothers, there is a lot of talk these days. By these days, I mean the last couple of generations, about the objectification of women. Or as I like to say, the reification of women. Just point out how absurd that kind of thinking can be sometimes. But the truth is, we do objectify people. And men do objectify women. Now, how is this usually meant? It's usually meant that they are objectified as sex objects. And when that sort of talk is used, it means not only that we objectify them in that specific way, but that we're limiting everything else out, right? So if we objectify a woman as a sex object, that is all that she is to us. And this is something that Christian men and Christian husbands can struggle with. But actually, the primary way in which Christian husbands objectify their wives is not as sex objects. I was hanging out with a friend last night, and I don't know how the topic came up, but he mentioned that in some hobby websites and fora that he would hang out on, yes, I'm the kind of man who says fora, Christian men on these websites, because it was Christian-oriented stuff, it was actually shorthand, very common shorthand on these fora, to refer to their wives as she who must be obeyed in discussion and intercourse with each other. So prevalent was it that there's an acronym, SWMBO. SWMBO, a swimbo. My bimbo's a swimbo. I don't want to hear about how your wife's a bitch, however nicely you put it. I don't want you to blame her for the fact that you have to go home and leave your friends. If you gotta go, you gotta go. Go because you want to. Or go because your wife needs you. That's a good reason to go. Go because your wife wants you. That's a good reason to go. But instead, we build up this false camaraderie with our friends by holding our wives out as other. She who must be obeyed is ruining our good time. I don't have the guts to tell her no, and I don't have the guts to tell you no, so I'm going to blame her. My friends, this must not be. So we can't objectify our wives as she who must be obeyed. I can tell you for a fact that is the thing that most insults my wife. So if I go out with the guys for a beer or five, I tell her that someone got a call from his wife. I had to go, was all embarrassed about it. You know, early on in our marriage, she wanted to be sure. You don't talk to me about me that way, do you? And I'll say one thing. I mean, this video is for men, but wives, if you're watching this, my wife does not call me when I'm out. Text is a beautiful thing. But she doesn't pester me when I go out. So I don't have to play that card. We communicate beforehand. And if I go out, then my wife does have some expectations. I'll be there to tuck her in. Right? See you tomorrow morning, sweetie. So that's something nice you can do for your husband. But the biblical model of marriage especially, so from a secular point of view, no one wants to be known as a bitch. So why would you paint your wife as a party pooper because you don't have the guts to say no to her or no to your friends? That's just mean. So that's not very good friendship, first of all. Moving into Christian marriage with the dynamic of serving one another and the economics of the husband is the head of the household, Christian wife has like a double investment in not being known as a harpy and not being known as someone who is always haranguing her husband. I'm going to pause this while the train goes by. From a secular perspective, if you are calling your wife she who must be obeyed, then you're saying she's not a nice person, but you're not necessarily saying anything about how good a wife she is. She could be a very good wife. But for a Christian to do that, you're not only saying she's not a nice person, you're saying she's not a good wife. Because a good wife wouldn't do that. Of course, a good husband wouldn't do that either. But right now, we're talking about you, husband, not saying mean things about your wife. The takeaway maybe is this: responsibility for yourself. I mean, that's what Christian husbanding is about anyway. That's what husbanding, the word, means, taking care of it. So take care of it. When you make decisions because of your wife, you are making the decision. You can say, my wife and I talked. I mean, I'm not saying don't say that. I'm just saying, if it's unpalatable to your friends or unpalatable to your mom or unpalatable to whoever else, don't blame it on her. Tell them, we decided this, I decided this, take responsibility. I'm leaving the pub now, boys, because I want to get back to my wife. I'm leaving our model train club, boys, because my wife likes it when I'm back at 10. And I want to be back at 10 because I love my wife. If that's your decision, if your decision is, I stay out as long as I want, which is, usually how I roll. But Kimberly and I worked that out over years of marriage. That's how we do. But how we do is always, always directed toward what she wants and what I want. It's what we do. I never say it's what she wants and she's dragging me along. How depressing would it be if she did that to you all the time? So, we're not objectifying our wives that way. We're not making her some object of fear and bitchiness. No, sir, she is the object of our love. We serve her and we want to please her. So we make decisions ourselves toward that end. Peace be upon you, people.